Alright guys, welcome to the video. We're going to be looking at my 3-mark game in the Hawk 30, and this will be the last video that I'm going to bring you guys before I go on my 2-week vacation, so you will not see videos for probably at least 2 weeks. Now, marking this tank, 3-marking this tank on Cliff was very, very interesting. I come up to the center here. Again, we're spawning on the north spawn of Cliff, and I'm going to get an initial shot here on the Blesk. This is a very common move for enemy light tanks, so what I normally like to do from this spawn is come up right to this corner and just wait for people to be here, right? And with the HE of this tank being 320 damage a shot, Skoda's now distracted. I'm dark again. I'm going to, smack the Skoda for 320, and already we're at 630 damage, and now the Blesk is going to try and poke up, get some shots into me. I can beat him to the punch. He's only going to be able to hit me, what, like 10, 15 times or whatever, with only, I don't know, what is it, 6 damage a shot or 4 damage a shot, so it's not a big deal for me. And then Centurion's going to poke around, and this is the only thing that's really annoying about this position is if you have nobody trying to press this. Every single time I'm on this map, it always seems like when I'm on the north spawn, nobody wants to try and press this on my side, but the enemies want to try and do it going the other way. And it's the weirdest thing to me. I don't understand why, because you both kind of have the same safe zone, in my opinion. But it just always seems like that's the case. So I have to watch the Centurion. I'm going to try and poke up here, hit the Blesk. Again, I'm able to hit him, and then I'm just watching the Centurion. This is why I actually chose to back down. Now, here's the problem with the Hawk 30. The Hawk 30 is such a big tank that I didn't even realize that I can't even get down low enough. The Centurion can actually poke on me right here. So this guy is just very annoying. He's doing a good job to kind of counter me here. But this is the problem with the Hawk 30, man, is it's literally the size of a medium tank, and there's just nowhere to hide. Like, if I was in the T100 LT and it was lower, I probably would not be shot here, right? So again, I'm trying to find this cleanup kill on like the Skoda or something over here, seeing if they're going to poke up. But I have to keep a really close eye on this Centurion because I know he's probably going to end up coming around this corner again. So this is, again, what you have to do in order to 3-mark tanks. Like, you got to get really creative in finding ways to outplay people, do damage. And we did 1,300 damage here, and that's how we're going to keep the mark up, right? We're just waiting for the Centurion to try and go down, and now he's in a spot where he's getting hit by my guys up here, right? And so he's put himself in harm's way. Boris actually bounces him there, which is wild. And now this is just like try and find more shots, right? So he's going to run away like this. I could have tried to hit this guy, but I didn't want to poke on him because I only have 356 HP left. And, he can easily clean me up there. So I tried the very last second there to maybe get a shot into him, but it's just really, it's not worth that poke. Where my game can end, right? So other people are able to clean him up. That's fine. We'll take it. Another spot I wanted to point out to you guys is I do like coming to this little area right here by this rock and these 2 bushes and stuff like that. If you're in a really small light tank, I've even tried it in the Borisk, and it seems to work pretty well in the Borisk. So I'm going to auto-lock the Skoda here. We clean him up, and now the T20 he's going to be paying attention to the mediums over here, so we can just rip this guy apart all day long, making sure the ISU can't hit me over here. I'm thinking, all right, I should be fine if I just, try and stay behind that little rock. Like this little rock right here should be okay, and we're getting spotting damage on the ISU anyway. He might not be paying attention. And we're just going to keep smacking the T20 in the back of his tank with the HE, and we're just building up a lot of damage here, right? And then I'm going to kind of auto-lock the T20. I don't want to get hit by him, but he won't kill me if he hits me once, so that's fine. The ISU can, I believe, so I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit by this guy, but he looks like he's focused on someone else. We're going to put a shot into him, also get some more spotting damage on him. And at this point, right before I go down the cliff here, is when I basically typed in the chat, like, shoot, like, help me, because I'm at like 94.98%. Again, you guys know this is never accurate because it's adding this game to what my mark was before the game, right? So I've just now, after that little bit of extra spotting, got the 3-mark, so I already got the 3-mark here. But in order to just make certain I get it, I do type in the chat something like, I'm pretty sure I say like either thank you or something to that effect of 3-mark. So I thought I put in there like help trying to 3-mark or something, but I guess I didn't. Um, we're going to get one final shot into the Viper here, and that's the game. But to mark, again, to 3-mark this tank on Cliff of all maps, I was very surprised. I was very impressed with myself to be able to do this. We got 1 kill out of this, 2,881 damage, 1623 spotting, but I think it was a little bit more in the end plates, and I will show you guys that. And that's the game, guys. I mean, I have nothing more to really say. Um, Cliff, in my opinion, is not a very difficult map. You just really have to find ways to not um, expose yourself early, right? Like, I try not to go up on that hill. I try not to run up on the hill. I just feel like it's stupid. You get hit, lose a lot of your HP. Like, I just try and play it safe all the time, right? So one other thing I wanted to note, I hope you guys are still here. I actually 3-marked the Kanonen Jagdpanzer as well. I don't know if I had 3-marked it at this point, but I was really close. So this is, I had a 57% win rate, averaging about 18-17 damage, and I 3-marked this vehicle, oddly enough, with Rammer in the firepower slot, Optics in the scouting slot, and then I ran Bounty Turbo. I actually ran Bounty Turbo on the Kanonen Jagdpanzer 105 in order to mark it, and the way I played it is just, you want to move around. Like, I moved around to find the best angles on people I could, and then I would even play it almost like a light tank, you know? Like, you poke in bushes that are a little closer to the enemies than your other friendly tanks are, and you can actually get some spotting from it as well. And then towards the end of the game, this is a trick that I started doing. I ran that ramming skill on my driver, right? And I went after light tanks. At the end of the game, I would load HE and I would go after light tanks. And I remember specifically on one map on, what the heck is that map called? Not Oyster Bay. I cannot think of the map, but it doesn't really matter. I ran after an even 90 and a Blesk. I rammed the even 90 for all of his HP, hit him with HE, rammed him, killed him. And then I went after the Blesk, who was only like a couple hundred meters away from him, ran after him and rammed him, took a lot of damage from him, hit him with HE twice, and killed him. So in the last 2 minutes of the battle, I did 1,950 damage. The Blesk didn't have the upgraded turret yet. So 2,000 damage I pretty much did at the end of that game, just from running after those guys with Bounty Turbo, ramming them, and smacking them with HE. So that's what I started doing. I would just like YOLO in at the end of the games using the Bounty Turbo, because you literally go like over 70 kilometers an hour when you get to max speed with this thing, and just getting the spotting and like ramming people. And just that's how I actually 3-marked the vehicle. And I had a really good game on Cliff as well in this tank. And I just kind of YOLO'd in at the end on that tank destroyer hill where we just were watching on this game, in this replay, where the STRV was, there was a Gorilla 15. And I went after the, you know what? I bet you I was thinking of the Kanonen Jagdpanzer 105 game when I said I typed in the chat. I think it was actually the same map where I 3-marked the Kanonen Jagdpanzer 105 on the same spawn, except I went around the cliff there, YOLO'd after the Grilla, and then went down and started YOLOing after the Arty and everything, and getting all the spotting like we just did in the Hawk 30. That's really, really odd. I didn't think about that until now, but I think we 3-marked the Hawk 30 and the Kanonen Jagdpanzer on cliff on the same spawn in the same day. Isn't that incredible? So, 2 3-marks on cliff. Anyway, getting to the end plates, guys, I want to just give you all this information because I'm not going to see you guys for 2 weeks, right? You won't see me for 2 weeks. So 1782, 2881. This was a first class game. This was my 3-mark game. Hip hip hooray. Here is all the team score, all these scores from everybody else. Again, we were top here, top by experience and all that, top by damage it even looks like. And we had a phenomenal game. I did buy some of these boxes and ended up getting the Project Ion, by the way, which I think is just the Skoda T56, but I'll probably do a session on that when I get back. The tank seems pretty fun, but again, I think it's just a Skoda T56. I don't know much about heavies, but I enjoyed playing it for the most part. And that's it for that, and then I'll just show you guys the detailed report. We made 155K. This thing will print credits if you give it the chance to, and we ended up marking this thing, by the way, with an extra 15 1/100ths of a percent, I guess you would say. So it really honestly wasn't even that close. We got it you know, and we had a lot more after it as well. After we got all the spotting there on like the tanks down there and the arty and whatever the heck else. So that's all, guys. I did a lot of damage in this vehicle. That's the only tip I can really give you. I did a lot of damage in this vehicle. Um, Here is what I'm 3 marked it at, but I did have 881 battles. 1363 damage, 53% win rate, 881 battles, but I think we have more damage than this because you know it only counts the last 100 battles, so I'd have to look at that. And I also was running bounty events on here instead of the optics. I changed it back to optics and ran optical calibration, so I had like 530 view range, and that actually helped me more. So I would recommend that you guys don't run bounty events, run the optics, and just use that view range to your advantage, that 530 something view range, because you will outspot people in areas you never think you'd spot people. Like that amount of view range, it cuts down on enemy concealment with CVS so much, you will literally spot people 445 meters out, right? Like at max view range away, because you have so much more view range added on top of that, that it just cuts concealment down like crazy if people are moving around, right? So there you go, guys. That's the only tip I can give you. Just do damage with this tank and be very careful with it. It's such a fat, freaking monstrous tank that you can't hide it anywhere. So don't try and hide it. Don't get yourself into those situations where you have to like run away. Like you take a risky shot and have to run away. Like you can't do it in this tank. It's just, it's not fast enough. It's so freaking big. It has no armor. Like it just becomes like this gigantic target, right? You are not an even 90. Don't play it like that. Play this thing like almost like a medium. That's how I 3 marked it. It took me so many battles. It took me 800 battles to mark this tank because I kept trying to play it like it was an even 90 or something, right? Trying to play it like a light. Like there's different ways you have to play different light tanks, you know, and you know the even 90 and the Hawk 30 are very different, right? They're two very different vehicles, and the LT 432 is also slightly different, right? You have turret armor, so you just have to know like how to kind of stretch and flex the responsibilities that you have and the role that you have as a light tank player based on what light tank you've chosen. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and I hope you're still here. Check out the playlists that I have on my channel homepage because again, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. There are some people that will check out my other videos and leave comments and stuff, and I always try and give you guys the hearts when I read them. Go ahead and do that. Check out all my other videos, guys. I have like 900 videos on this channel. I've been doing this for many years. I know the quality is not as good on some of those older videos, but check out my other stuff since I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and I hope you enjoy that. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.